Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. I am Steve Dotto, and we are thrilled that you're joining us this fine Wednesday. I'll give you guys a few moments for everybody to get in the room. I'll check to make sure that you are indeed all coming in, and there you are. So it takes the webinar software a little bit of time to enroll everybody and get you all registered in the room. But if you take a look at the menu, so I encourage you all to a request for you this week is there's so many of you who are now our Patreon supporters. So if you are a Patreon supporter, just let us know as you say hello if you're a Patreon supporter, so that we can at least visually give you a little more love as we look at it. And we see Richard from Philadelphia. How you doing, Richard? And Serena from Canada, just from Canada. That's good. Oh, we got somebody from Colombia. We got, now it's starting to go so fast. This is the thing. Is Paula from Colombia. How the heck are you? And Rick from NYC. We've got Peggy from Edmonton. Thomas, a Patreon supporter. Yay, Thomas. Bert from Germany, or Bet from Germany. Good stuff. Well, welcome, everybody. Today's webinar is going to be really interesting. Today, we're going to be talking about Facebook video. And just so you know, we're going to be talking about the pre-recorded type of video on Facebook as opposed to Facebook Live, which is an entirely different conversation. We'll touch on a few aspects of it, but today, primarily, we're going to go through a lot of what we've learned in the world of Facebook video. And of course, as usual, I have my colleagues with me. I've got April here with me. She can say hello. Is winter back in your neck of the woods, April?
It is not. It actually is about almost 60 degrees today. It's awesome. I want to go outside.
April.
Did you hear me?
Sorry? No.
Oh, I said it's almost 60 degrees today. It's sunny.
Yeah, I heard
the
that.
Snow's melting. Yeah.
But you're also like really close to the Russian spy ship, right?
I am really close to the Russian spy ship, about 20 minutes. That's kind of lurking in the ocean there, watching us. Yes.
I wonder if they're watching the webinar right now. If they are, Nastorovia. There we go. I think that's a Russian word. I'm not positive. Don't speak a lot of Russian here. Don't speak a lot of Russian here. 72 degrees in Ohio. Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here in Vancouver, but we might be having snow again in Vancouver, which is crazy. Trout Hunter, yes, he is. Bob, he was our 500th patron. He's here. How are you doing? Special shout out to Bob, our number 500 patron. He thought he'd win a car or something. He got really excited, and I just said, "No, you're 500. That's great." So he's leveraging it for what it's worth. Okay. I do see that now. See, we've got Sophia in the room as well, but she is working as she's kind of working back of the room right now. But I see that it does show her icon here as I'm looking at the feed. So that's something that we're still learning this new system of the new version of Webinar Jam. So we will pay attention to that in the future, and we will modify what we do so we don't have visuals that look like this. So here's what we're going to do. In about a couple of minutes from now, I'm going to start a video running, which is our normal process here on Webinar Wednesday. If you're new to Webinar Wednesdays, every week we do a tutorial webinar where we teach you something about the world of productivity, the social media, social marketing. Today, obviously, we're doing Facebook video. That's what you've signed up for. But how I run these webinars is we welcome you in the room, and then I pre-record a demo so that I can, a presentation, so that it's more tightly packaged. We don't waste as much of your time. And also, because of the nature of how webinar software works, it's far better for us doing product demonstrations if we pre-recorded an insertion. So there's about a 30-minute demo, which I'm going to start playing here in just a few moments on the video. But while that's happening, April and Sophia and I and Jen, if she gets off her other call and jumps in the room, we will be in chat answering your questions and dealing with all of those issues as we move ahead, and making sure that what I call add information density to this webinar. We answer as many questions as we can in chat before we're out of the video. Then we answer all of the rest of your questions at the end. Once the video is played, we'll then take the Q&A section and we'll actually share it out again on Facebook Live. So if you want to let any of your friends know about it, they can jump on our Facebook Live and they can see us doing the Q&A both here in the webinar and on Facebook Live, which I think is a cool way of expanding our reach. In the social marketing space, we're going to get a lot more viral reach with our content by doing that. Once this webinar is over, you'll have 48 hours if you want to view a replay. or if you want to share it with your friends and have them view a replay. After that, the replay goes into the Dottotech archives, where it is still available for all of our wonderful Patreon supporters, and we'll fill you in on what Patreon is all about after we've done the video. So we will fill you in on that. Before we jump into the webinar today, though, I should let you know that you will probably see an email from me today and tomorrow about another webinar that we're delivering tomorrow. Not part of the Webinar Wednesday series, but we're doing, we've reworked our Slack Made Easy course. We use Slack internally here at Dottotech, absolutely love it. And we've got a course called Slack Made Easy, which is quite popular. But Slack's had a lot of changes since we first released the course. So we're releasing a new version, an updated version of the course tomorrow. So we've got 2 webinars tomorrow. So if you're interested in learning more about Slack, which is basically a communications hub, replaces email for almost all of our internal communications, but we use it for so much more. If you're interested in Slack, actually, April, if you can drop that the link in, join us tomorrow for the webinar. This will be one. This isn't going to be it'll be certainly a tutorial webinar, but we'll be talking about the course at the end of it, the relaunch of the course at the end of that as well. Lee asks, what's Slack? Do I need it if I work alone? No, if you work alone, it's all about communicating with others. For small team communications of the sort that we do here on Dottotech, where April is in one coast, I'm in another coast, Jen is in another country, Sophia is down in Houston. She's in Houston, as our dark face says there. And we got people all around the world that work together, and it facilitates all of our communication. So how about the Dottotech archives link as I'm a patron? Dennis will fill you in exactly on how you get to all of the videos in the chat room. So we'll take care of that. But good. I think that's everything that I needed to do. What we're going to do now is we're going to start playing the video. I will see you folks in chat. And the other side of chat will answer all of your questions around the world of Facebook video. Oh, I'm so excited about this topic. It is. We have learned so much about it in the last little while. It is 32 minutes and 25 seconds of knowledge gold coming your way.
Can't wait.
All right. Coming up with a Facebook video posting strategy, understanding Facebook video and other video platforms as well. I am looking forward to sharing this with you. Here's what we're going to be covering today. Even though we're primarily talking about Facebook video in this particular webinar today, we're going to make sure that we set Facebook video in the Facebook platform against the other social networks. So we have to understand how each of the social networks works as far as our video delivery strategy and how visitors to those sites consume video. Ever so important. We're also going to be talking about understanding that the video itself that we create for that site. So if we're creating it for that environment, what aspects and what features should we be putting in the video in order for it to resonate within that site? And that's going to include things like the objectives that we have for the video, developing a format for our video, and finally a delivery strategy as well. Now I'm going to blast through this slide portion of the demo, and then we're actually going to jump in and take a look at some of the production techniques, and I'm going to show you a couple of production techniques that we use within our environment to help us and follow the criteria that we're going to be laying out. But I do want to point out that we're talking today about posted video and not live video. So there's all of the different platforms have live options now. We've got Facebook Live, we've got YouTube Live, we've got Instagram, we've got Periscope. We've got all of these different live delivery platforms where we're delivering video live. We'll talk about those in another webinar coming up. This is prepackaged video that you record with a strategy behind it and a plan behind it and a posting strategy. So this is content that we produce and then post to our channels. So just know that we're not talking about live. Live requires a completely different mindset, completely different production techniques. Everything about live is different. But that's one of the confusions about video, is people think video is video and they don't necessarily in their mind acknowledge the difference between live and pre-produced video. They just see it on screen as video and it's live, but we will talk more about that in a moment. So let's start though by understanding the networks, understanding the mindset of people who are coming to each of the different networks and to consume video, because that is so relevant in the production our production of video. And of course, the two main players being YouTube and Facebook. Now, Facebook though is kind of the poster child for all of the other feed-based networks. Think about it. YouTube doesn't have a feed. It doesn't have a news feed. You go to YouTube and you search for content that you're interested in, or you browse through it. Facebook Instagram, Twitter, the feed-based networks. You view your content in a news feed. Now, it doesn't matter whether that content is served to you chronologically or through an algorithm. It's still served to you in a feed-based mode where you're kind of going chronologically or in a list through the content. So you're not searching for specific content on a topic when you're in those networks. It's interruptive. The content that you see, the videos or posts that you see, interrupt the flow of whatever it is that you're doing, because as you're browsing through, it's jumping from topic to topic. Whereas in YouTube, it's an intentional view. You typically go with an intention to watch this person's video, or even more regular, even more common, is you go in looking for information on this topic, which you've searched for. You're given a roster of videos, and then you're selecting the video that you want to watch. So the value of that engagement, I think, is by its nature higher. It's not that I am just a YouTube snob and I think YouTube is the only place that video is valued. That's not the case at all. Tremendous value in Facebook video and in the other feed-based videos. But it's got to be a higher volume because each interaction is of a lower quality. I will stand by that because people are not coming looking specifically for information on X, Y, and Z in Facebook. They're stumbling across it. They might be interested. It might be totally relevant, but the bottom line is they didn't come with intent. So whereas in YouTube, it's all about intentional views, on Facebook and in the other feed-based networks, it's all about accidental views. Still very valuable, but we have to honor that. A big part of it, at the end of the day, as we're measuring whether or not what we're doing is right or wrong, is we need metrics. And understanding how, this statistic is probably the most relevant of all. Understanding how the different networks view a view is essential as you evaluate your success. Facebook, Instagram, they consider 3 seconds of a video view to be a view. Now, Instagram, that's probably a little more relevant because an Instagram video view on your phone basically dominates your phone, so people actually had to look at that for 3 seconds before they swipe past. But in Facebook, it's kind of, you could be reading the post beneath and have that video auto-playing just above you, and they will consider that to be a view. So how much value is that compared to YouTube's view, which is 30 seconds. I've had to click on the video to watch it. Now I've watched it for 30 seconds. See where I come from when I'm saying that the intentional view on YouTube has more basic value and more, it just has a greater quality than the other networks? That's one of the big reasons. Understanding this statistic, ever so important. So I started things out by talking to you about the difference between live video and posted video. And in order to understand, I think, how to create video for all of the channels, we have to look past the obvious, that is video, and recognize that all video is not created equal. Just like live video has a very different purpose and a very different production quality and a very different length, all of those things, than does prepackaged video, we have to understand where each of these video types work for us. And and there's as many different types of video as there are different types of documents. Words aren't just words. Words on a page all look the same. Video on a screen all looks the same. But words can be poetry, they can be a blog post, they can be instruction manuals, they can be a legal document, they can be a fictional, they can be entertainment, they can be a fiction or a nonfiction book. But all the words look the same on the page. Video has as many different applications. It's just, even though the video appears to be the same, how we create it and how it's consumed is vastly different. Now, with words, we use different delivery mechanisms for different types of words. Tweets are sent out by the internet. Books are published as books. Instruction manuals are included with whatever it is that you're teaching people how to use with the product. So we use different delivery networks for every different type of content that we create as far as documents goes. It's the same with video. Understanding the type of video that you're creating for the network is essential. So how we determine that is, first of all, by the objectives that we have for the video. What are we looking for the video to do for us? Awareness, engagement, converting people into actually taking action. Each of those aspects helps us craft exactly what the video is going to look like and what we do within that video in order to achieve those objectives. If our objective is conversion, getting people to sign up for a newsletter, sign up for a webinar, sign up for a course, there has to be a call to action within it, as there does With engagement, we have to ask people to engage. But if it's just about awareness, then you don't need to have that call to action, and it can be a much more soft sell as far as the video goes. It can be far more informational. You've got different criteria within the video that have to be applied. Similarly, we have our production goals. What are we looking for the video to do? What sort of mind space are we looking at the people that are consuming it to be in? Do we want it to be inspirational or entertaining, which is fantastic for feed-based networks like Facebook? Or are we looking for it to be more educational, where probably it's going to fit better in a YouTube-type universe? So understanding the production goals helps us determine what networks we're designing our video for. Now, this is both a forward and backward kind of assessment that you're doing. If you're looking to grow your Facebook presence, then you're going to start to develop videos that are designed for Facebook, and you're going to take into account that they have to be short, they have to be inspirational or entertaining. They've got to be all of those things. However, if you're looking at growing awareness for your product and you're saying, what message do we want to have? You might be working backwards saying, this video has got to be really a heavy training video where we're teaching a lot about this. So just looking at that saying, well, we're probably going to want to put it on YouTube then as opposed to Facebook, because YouTube is going to better deliver this type of content. So you can look at it from both sides of the mirror as you're working with it. Now, we will talk a little bit about posting strategies as we move ahead, and we're going to be talking about how we post to Facebook. But if you're really interested in learning more about posting strategies that work in social media, our YouTube launch sequence really resonates through this whole area. And this was a mini course which we delivered about a month ago, which is still available online. You can get it. It's $39, but it walks step by step through the launch process that we do with each and every one of our videos and what we go through with each of our videos on YouTube. If you're looking for that kind of detail, that would be well worth looking into, because even if you're creating video for Facebook, the aspects of the launch sequence of the touch points that we do and how we prepare our video for successful launch, you will find valuable. And we'll be touching on some of those aspects as we move ahead. So now let's start kind of diving in and looking at the pieces of the video and understanding the nuances of video especially for Facebook. And number one is, how is your video viewed? And this statistic that we have here is ever so relevant when you're considering Facebook. Now, I will point out that Facebook is trying to change this metric, but 85% of all Facebook video currently viewed today in early 2017 is viewed without sound. Why is that? Because people are viewing those videos on their phone, and they're typically viewing them in public places, and they also are scrolling through, and video after video is appearing in their newsfeed, and they don't want that jarring interruption of sound playing constantly as you go through. You can imagine just how irritating that would be. So people have their sound turned off, and when they watch a video, they'll determine whether or not they want to listen to the video as well. Now, from a marketing perspective, this completely changes how we produce our video, because we can't rely on audio as a hook. Audio is ever so important in video production, whether it's music to set the mood, whether it's the words to teach whatever it is and convey whatever information we're looking to convey. Audio is crucial. So if you don't have audio, you've lost probably half of the communication value of your video right out of the gate. Certainly for educational video, it becomes incredibly difficult. So we have to come up with a strategy that works without sound. Now, I'm going to put a big caveat on here, because this is a moving target. Facebook has recently posted a bunch of content to the fact that they are going to be changing the way the feed works so that auto sound will be turned on, and it's something you're going to have to turn off in the future. And they recognize the fact that a lack of audio is reducing the amount of engagement and the amount of success that videos are having. And they are kind of fighting back now and kind of are going to be forcing us to have audio playback. I think that's going to be a disaster. I think ultimately people are going to just automatically turn off that audio, because I don't want the audio auto playing, and I'm a video creator. I can't imagine that you want it any more than I do. But it is something that we have to consider as we create our content. So that's the number one thing for me. Facebook is the audio strategy, how we deal with overcoming a lack of audio. Number one. We'll talk about it. I'll show you how. The second thing is keep it short. And in YouTube videos, we used to say keep YouTube videos short, but the average YouTube viewing length is now astronomically large. and video rewards longer videos. And again, Facebook is trying to get people to make longer videos, but the consumers, the successful video, are short videos. And we see here some of the top producers. The Daily Mail's videos are 90 seconds long. American Journal, about 80 some odd seconds. But we see The Guardian, Now This, BBC News, BuzzFeed Food. These are shorter and shorter videos, and they resonate and they work. For the feed-based networks, short videos work because I think you can convey a single idea, not a complex conversation in Facebook video. Whereas YouTube, you can be as complex as you want, just like we are right now. This sort of a presentation that I'm delivering right now would suck on Facebook. It's perfect for YouTube. So short, one idea. And you'll see when we talk about our 1-minute tech tips that some of you may have seen, that was the genesis of that, is we wanted short little snippets. Now, I pulled this from BuzzSumo, but these are the top interactive, the top Facebook channels for interaction on their videos. And we can see BuzzFeed Tasty, this Vichindun, it's a magazine, it's a European magazine, and BuzzFeed's Nifty create the most interaction. So I wanted to look at and understand what the commonalities were between some of the most popular videos measured by interaction and what they all had in common. And one of the things that they all have in common, of course, is they're all short videos for the most part. But most of them are also square format. This is something that we learned from BuzzFeed, is they said that 75% of their videos were under a minute and in a square format. And the bottom line is people are viewing video on your phone, and the square format fills more of the screen and resonates better on the phone. Now, to be fair, again, Facebook trying to change the rules. Facebook is encouraging people to go from square format to 2x3 format, so 2 inches across by 3 inches down format, which is even more conducive to the phone screen. But there's some problems with layovers and stuff like that. So right now, we're producing our video in square format. We think your video for Facebook and Instagram in square format resonates better, works better, looks better, and does better. And we can see here the examples of their videos all in square format and how they are interacting. Now, one thing that I did notice, and this is kind of something that we haven't done, is the European magazine asks people to tag their friends in all of their videos. And, in the YouTube world, asking for subscriptions gets us subscriptions. So this is something that we're taking under advisement, and we're starting to add calls to action just in the copy saying, please share or please tag your friends. Something that we've just begun. Still, we haven't even got it into our full system yet. I'm just kind of manually going in and doing it. Don't know if it makes a difference. But if they're doing it, I suspect it does make a difference because they know what they're doing. They've got great interaction on their videos, and they do it on all of their videos. They're the only one of these channels that I've noticed that does that. But also the other thing is each one of these videos has a single thought, has a single topic that it teaches. If you think about the BuzzFeed food videos that you've seen, or those tasty food videos, it's like, here's how to do a tuna casserole. Boom, just a tuna casserole. They don't teach you anything else. It's one thought. It's one defined, easily digestible piece of information. So, the strategies that I consider to be valuable as of today, with the caveat that Facebook's changing the rules, is, first of all, native format is essential. By native format, we mean we don't share a video that we've posted on YouTube on Facebook if we want to have great Facebook viral growth. Instead, we natively post it. We upload it as a Facebook video into Facebook. Now, we dual produce our videos. We produce one version for YouTube, one version for Facebook of our short little one thought videos, and we post them on YouTube where they still have value. And we also post a second square version that we've output on Facebook. And we're finding at this point that that's a strategy that's working for us for these videos. So native format, Facebook will penalize you if you try and just put links in to other social channels. So you want to always post native. Square video is what we're using right now. Facebook is trying to push us to move to 2 to 3. We will look at that, as I imagine you will, as you start to post into Facebook. But right now, square seems to work better. The first frame, the early part of the video, that first 3 seconds that they talk about, that has to capture your viewer's attention, and it has to do it without sound. So I believe that text explaining exactly what it is that we're doing is going to work best. Now, Facebook has told us historically that people's face on screen works very well as far as attracting attention. So we believe that that continues through to video. So we always have our face on screen at the beginning of the video, talking about with text saying what it's going to be about. And as a matter of fact, we continue that text metaphor through the entire video. And we don't just rely on closed captioning to add text, but we actually hard code the text right into the video with display text through the entire video. And then making sure that if you do have a call to action, that it's well documented within the video. And second layer of call to action is the fact that we're now starting to put calls to action in the blog post itself, in the Facebook post itself, asking people to share. Because the viewer that views a video is valuable, but if they share it, if they tag their friends, that's where we start to get viral growth, which is what we really want from all of our videos. We want it to grow our network and expand our network. And the more that we can do that without paying for traffic, the better off we are as a brand. So those are the kind of the strategies that we're looking at as we start to post video. So I'm going to jump in a few moments here, and I'm going to show you how to create video, these sorts of videos, using a couple of different tools. But before I do that, let's just take a look at the analytics that talk about when we're into Facebook, where we see exactly how videos are performing. And this might give you a good idea of whether or not you want to invest a lot of time in it. So our Facebook channel, our Facebook page, is not the biggest traffic Facebook page that you'll have. We have 10,000 likes or so, and increasingly we're getting a little bit more traffic on it. We have 40 or 50 people who like the page per week right now. It's growing slow, not as quickly as I'd like. We haven't exactly nailed the entire Facebook thing, but we're doing quite well with videos. So here we are, we're Monday morning of this week. It's 10:15, and I posted this video, or 11:15. I posted this video at 10:15 in the morning. This particular video is our newest one on link shorteners, and it's got 35 views and 225 people reached. I don't know if it's doing well or poorly. It's doing what it's doing. But let's have a look overall at how videos are performing on our site. And actually, we're 84 views and 400 people reached. So 84 times this is played for 3 seconds in their feed. But you can see already that I'm kind of, what I'm talking about is as it moves up, we have the name of it, we have my face, we have Dropbox file sharing. You go into the video itself. There's a little bumper if they happen to have audio playing. As you see our format come forward. And now everything that I'm saying is being supported by text. So it's easy to understand exactly what I'm saying. So that's the technique that we've chosen. I'll show you how we produce those, but that's how we do it. Let's go in to Facebook Insights. This tells us how our site is performing in social, how our content is performing. And if we take a look down here, this is our posts, the 5 most recent posts, talking about reach and engagement and the type of posts they are. Now, I'm going to expand this to see all posts. So you can see that there is, without question, there is a consistent value as far as these analytics are concerned to video. If we take a look, we'll ignore the latest video, which we just posted today. But if you look in this column here, you see videos, the type of post. These are basic link posts, which are basically the same as photo posts, where we've posted back and linked to our website, to our own blog posts on our website. And so you can see here we have a reach of 3,000 for this content and 1.7 thousand for this. That's video versus link post. As far as engagement, 158 engagements on this one, 75 on the link post. Does this represent that the video is more engaging or Facebook is more aggressively sharing it? This is something that we don't know. But we do know that consistently the numbers on every video are better than the other types of posts. Not by a massive margin, because our content is similar. The type of content we produce in both is similar as far as the audience is concerned. How-to videos on different productivity and social marketing topics. But we see consistently video 3.6, 3.8, 2.6. Now here's a blog post that did 2.9, so it did a little bit better. But the other blog post here, 1.4. So we see consistently that video is performing better, both from a reach perspective, which means is basically opportunity to engage people, and later from an engagement perspective, all the videos perform far better than do our link or photo posts. So for us, it's the answers at this point quite obvious. Is video has more intrinsic value on Facebook than do these other formats. So this will carry through, for a period of time. Now, one thing you have to do is you have to stay on top of these guys, and you have to keep paying attention because Facebook things will change, as we all know. But this is all viral sharing, no paid traffic on any of these, but we can see that video has more value. So we've talked a little bit about the format. We've talked a little bit about the networks. I think we understand the prime difference between the networks. We've looked at some of the proof in the analytics. Let's look at how we go about creating some of these videos to get you started, because that can be a huge mountain to climb. And one of the products that's really thrilled me to get people into, especially doing Facebook video, is a product called Adobe Spark. Now, of course, Adobe are the creators of Adobe Photoshop, but they have this free service called Spark, which is basically storytelling online. And it can be a little bit confusing, and actually it can be a real pain in the ass logging in, because they make you log in multiple times. At least for me, it's because I log in through my Google account. There's a whole bunch of, I have to log in, and then I have to give access, and I have to log in again, and it's a pain in the terrier. But once we are in, Adobe Spark will allow us to create different types of projects. And the different types of projects that they allow us to create are, if we go to the Inspiration Gallery, they will allow us to create blog posts or social graphics, still social graphics, video graphics, or little animated, and they are not really movies, but they're animated posts. And it will allow us to create actual web pages, which are almost like landing pages that you can create. But I'm going to take it in, and I'm going to show you. Let's create what's the best way to do this? Let's go to my projects. I'm just going to create a new one right here. I'm going to just walk you through quickly how you might create a animated post which has photos and animated text within it. So I'm going to start, and I've got, you can see actually the trial of it. So here we are. You can create a post, a page, or a video. Now they call it a video, but I think it's more an animated post. So I'm going to call this, so you start with your text. You start with, this is, what? Okay. Because I've got a photo, so what it is. In here, you've got different templates that allow you to basically build your narrative on these templates here. And what these do is they kind of ask you questions. They give you an idea of structure. So if you don't have a good idea, Hero's Journey, let's use Hero's Journey because it'll give you an idea. So what it does is it gives you kind of pre-done pages that you can go through and you can add your own content into. And so you can see here, so it's setup, call to adventure, the challenge, the climax, and the resolution. So it gives you the narrative arc, the story arc of what you're producing. Now, we don't really have to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the setup here, and I'm going to delete each of these. Yes, delete that slide. And I'm going to add a new slide. This new slide I'm going to add is going to be a photo. Oh, here we've got themes so that we can choose exactly, what the overall look is. So let's just make this really easy going. Let's make satin. Let's choose a satin theme, which is just this kind of soft background. I'm going to add a photo to it. So let's just start with a new slide, add a photo. I'm kind of stumbling through it, and I'm going to upload a photo. The photos that I've got some nice photos here in my Dropbox folder. In social sharing, where are my social sharing photos? Let me just sort by name. Social share photos, and I got this photo. My dog was just being a jackass the other day. There we go. I'm going to bring that photo in. Yeah, he went diving in the garbage can, and he had an unexpected attachment as he walked away. And he kind of walked up to me. He just sidled up to me sitting there with this trash can on his head. Okay, so that's going to be the beginning. So now I can go into my layout, and I'm going to say, what I want to have? I want to have a caption here. And I put in text, and the text is going to say, garbage can. Okay, so you see now we've got this format. I can switch it to two things, which then we'll put the text beside it. And so you see I have that option. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this slide and I'm going to duplicate this slide. And in the second slide, I'm going to change the text because I've got all of these previous slides that are still in here, which I have to delete. I'll delete that one. Yes, delete this slide. And I'll delete this one here. Sorry. I could have cleaned this up a little more when we started. But you get an idea of the kind of control you have. And then, I'm going to choose a photo itself. And I'm going to zoom in on the photo in each one. So I'm going to make the photo a little bit bigger in the second slide. And I'm going to make the photo a little bit bigger in the third. This is just kind of a cheap way to make it, to kind of animate it all. There we go. Okay, so now let's take a look. We can preview this, and we can see what we've got. We've got a little bit of music happening. So you see, we just create. Now that's a little video that would probably be kind of fun online. Now it serves my purpose, which is in this case a little bit of entertainment. Now let me show you a few other things that we can do with this video. We can go quickly in and we can change the music. They've got all these different music beds that we can add to it. Or if we decide to change the theme, we can change the overall look of it instantly just by choosing a different theme. And now when we view it, we see that it's got a whole different theme. So you see so Adobe Spark will allow us to create, I think, really good video for Facebook where we can now, I could have imported a video here and we could have laid the graphics over the video if we chose. A variety of different ways to approach it. But it does give us the ability to add text to the visual environment that is going to work best in Facebook. I think this is a terrific place to start working with Facebook video. Now, if you're of the type, of the sort that's looking for something even a little bit more powerful, if you're ready to kind of step into the deep end of the pool, let me go in and let me open up one of our recent, there we go, this one here. Okay, this is a video that I created, which is going to become one of our 1-minute tech tips, which is the videos that you saw. So what happened here is I record a voiceover, they're about a minute long, and then I record all of the screens attached to that, and then we will take all of this content. This is in ScreenFlow, so this is in our video editing package. So then Liz, our video editor, will take all of this content, and she will incorporate and add text where appropriate to it. She will add text. Actually, from the script that we've created, she will add all the text to this video. She will add different transitions to that text, allowing that text to, let me just add a starting and ending transition. So then she will do that, and let's just move that text to the early part, and let's just move the visuals behind. There we go. So that we can see that the text will be added
Steve Dotto here
to this video as I produce the video. And we edit this all together, and then at the very end, when it's time to publish it, when she goes to export it, she will reformat it into a square format as well as the widescreen format, which we will publish to YouTube, and the square format will be for Facebook, obviously, and for Instagram. So the bottom line, though, for us is that we create the video with all the supporting graphics as per normal, and then we add text to support it to allow it to work in silent mode. For the 85% of people who are viewing the video without sound, they will still get value from it. So that's two ideas of how you can start publishing your content, your video, for the streaming networks, for Facebook and Instagram. Is you could use a tool like Adobe Spark, and there are a few other tools in that space, but Spark is a great place to start. Or if you are already doing screencasting, you can use your existing screencasting setup to create, I think, some very compelling and good video. It took us about a week to develop the format that we decided to use finally for our 1-minute tech tip. I encourage you to have a look at those as we go along. So I think that I've given you a good idea, an overview of Facebook video, how we apply it. I think it's time for us to now get to some questions. Okay, and we should be back. I should be back, and we have Jen coming in as well. So, folks, there we go. There was lots of conversation in the chat room. This new webinar software, the Webinar Jam Studio that we're using now, allows the hosts to have kind of a back channel conversation talking away. So there was much conversation about Farley from that video, and the fact that when he walked in, it was hilarious moment because I was working on my notebook and he sidled up to me with my garbage can on his head and just looked at me and said, "Sup, dude?" And then he laid down on we've got like a footstool. He laid down on the footstool. He crawls up, laid down on it, and he goes, just a big sigh at the end. It was a good moment. But so I hope that we've given you guys a really good idea of an overview of what's happening in the world of pre-recorded video on Facebook. Now we've got a ton of questions that we're going to be working our way through, but we've also launched this Q&A part now into Facebook Live. So those of you joining us on Facebook Live, welcome. We've just completed a webinar where we talked a lot about the entire world of Facebook video, pre-recorded Facebook video, and now we're entering a Q&A. So if you have any questions and you want to jump in, Jen is managing the Facebook Live room right now, and so she will be adding the questions to it. So you have the option if you're in the webinar to ask us questions, or if you're in Facebook Live to ask us questions. So let's get to the, or we do that. I do need to talk to you about, I just got a screen share with you for just a second. I almost forgot. I want to let you know about what's coming up next week, etc. So let me just go into screen share here. And into the last of the slideshow. So this week's webinar, obviously we're talking about Facebook Live video, or Facebook video. Next week, we're going to be talking about YouTube. Got a lot of requests from people for me to start to cover just starting a YouTube channel. What happens at the very beginning, how to get that first 1,000 subscribers, the things that you need to do to start your YouTube channel. So that is next week's webinar. It'll be free as well. It'll be a good tutorial, and April is popping the registration link into the page right now. And Jen, if you can actually drop the registration link into the Facebook group as well. Anybody that wants to join us. Those of you joining us on Facebook, we have a complete tutorial webinar that leads into these live sessions that we do each week. So that is next week. It's all about YouTube. The following week, we're going to be getting back into productivity again. The link won't be up yet, but we're going to be talking about dealing with distraction. And I've got a great interview with the founder of Focus at Will when we talk about dealing with distraction and increasing your personal productivity. So we've got a couple of great webinars coming up over the next couple of weeks. Now, if you found today's video and today's webinar to be useful, well, we want to thank, especially for that, our Patreon supporters, because Dottotech, the entire channel here at Dottotech, is supported through the generosity of our viewers at Patreon. And I just wanted to let you know that there are perks included in supporting Dottotech. Not only do you get access to these great tutorial webinars that we deliver on a weekly basis, but our Patreon supporters also get access to Evernote Made Easy, which is our course on using Evernote. They also get access to these webinar archives. Now, we do make these replays available for 48 hours after we post the video, after we record the webinar. But after that, they all move into our archives, and our Patreon supporters have access to them. You also get half off on our premium courses and 75% off on our mini courses that we present on a regular basis here on Dottotech. We've got a course coming up in about 6 weeks. We're going to be doing a course on delivering webinars, just kind of the sort of webinars that we've delivered today, where I'm going to teach people more the strategy and the technique of doing excellent webinars. There's a ton of webinar courses out there that will teach you how to sell in a webinar. We're going to teach you how to present an excellent webinar. We're going to teach you the skills to be a webinar broadcaster, not a webinar salesperson. So it's a little bit of a different take, and that's coming up in a few weeks. Looking forward to that big time. So just to let you know, I mean, already we've been doing this new content model from the beginning of the year, but we already have 5 great webinars in the archives. We got one on my personal productivity system, social system, a guide to online social marketing, using WordPress for social media, 3 Steps to Inbox Zero, which is an entire mini course on reducing email overload. It's a very really pleased with how that one has come together. And then today's webinar right now on Facebook video. And next week we'll be adding the YouTube to the mix. So over time, the value of the Patreon support is just going to grow and grow. And we're committed to continuing to produce great content here on Dottotech as long as the community out there is committed to supporting us, which is a great combination so far. So thank you so much for all of that. You can visit us at patreon.com/Dottotech, and Yeah, we got to turn on. Completely awesome. We love our Patreon supporters, don't we?
We do.
We do.
Thank you.
We do. All right. Is Facebook Live feeding properly, Jen?
It is. We are running, and Paul is watching the webinar and the Facebook Live at the same time.
One
and
person?
He says,
well, he's watching both. Okay.
He says, weird.
It's weird. Yeah. That's the world we live in. Yeah. Okay. So let's get to questions. We've got so many questions today. Let's jump into them.
All right. The first one is our friend Steve is saying, Steve, you had a post recently where you said you switched to a pop-up green screen. And
okay. So Jen should have dropped that link in. Yeah. It's behind here. Let me just, I'll just kind of move the camera, but you can see the green screen. All right. You see it there?
You have to turn on your video.
My video's not on?
No.
And
we have an extra window.
That's Sophia.
Oh, okay.
I've seen your video.
Now
there you are.
On now?
Now you're on.
Oh, so that was a glitch because I was getting the video feed through and it didn't come through. Isn't that interesting? So there's the green screen. It's a little pop-up green screen there right behind us. There's Farley.
Hi, Farley.
So there you go. So yeah, it's great. It's far better than as far as I'm concerned, it's far better than the rack. It holds it taut and straight. It's got a blue and a green side. It was about 100 in Canada. It was like $120. In the States, they're about $97. It's a nice addition to the studio here. Okay, next question.
All right, Trout Hunter is asking, I want to do a video on a website and want only certain people to see it, sort of like it is a membership site where you have to log in. What is a good resource, or how would you do that? Facebook is open to the public.
Yeah, so wondering about, Trout Hunter's looking to probably the best way to do it if you want to gate the community that can see it is doing it through a Facebook Live group, like a private group. But it might be even better to do something like a webinar like we're doing right now, which you can kind of close off to people. As far as broadcasting it and embedding it on your website, there are a variety of different webinar products that will allow you to embed your webinar right on your website. But I think if you're doing that in WordPress, it's fraught with challenges, and I wouldn't go down that path. I think you'll end up disappointing people, and then they blame you when the technology doesn't work.
Pretty much. Danielle is asking, are embed videos and shared videos on Facebook from YouTube also counted in your YouTube stats?
Yes. So when you embed a video on your website or even on YouTube or on Facebook, in your overall view count, but it's also counted. You can see there's a difference between, because they tell you how many views happen on the YouTube page versus how many views are coming from an external source. So it does count. The negative side is Facebook just severely restricts the number of videos, the amount of sharing, the viral sharing that happens with a video that's posted on YouTube. They just limit it dramatically. So posting native video. So for example, what we do with our 1 minute tech tips, where we take the video, and I know there's a question coming up about how we do the square format. So in ScreenFlow, when Liz edits them together, she edits one widescreen, which she downloads to us, which we upload to Facebook, and then she uploads a square version. She re-outputs it, so she does a little bit of editing and a little bit of recompositing of the screen, because it's only a minute long, so it doesn't take her too long. And then she outputs it in square format, which we use for Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Oh no, we use the widescreen for Twitter, for Instagram and Facebook.
All right, Avram is asking, Steve, how and why did you choose approximately 1 minute for your 1 minute tech tip?
Well, if you saw the statistics that we talked about during the webinar, when I looked at the BuzzFeed videos, we modeled our 1 minute tech tips on the BuzzFeed food ones, which is basically food porn, right? So you see, how to make a tuna casserole that looks so yummy, and they're always under a minute long. And I recognized that was kind of the attention span. That business of understanding that Facebook video is interruptive. People aren't coming and looking to learn on Facebook. They're reacting to something that catches their attention. It's a bright and shiny object. So that's why I wanted to make it one thought, and 1 minute tech tips sounded good coming off the tongue. And the research I did on the most popular videos, viral videos on Facebook, they were all short format. Now, Facebook is trying to push us to longer form video. They want people to watch longer. They want the stickiness. So they want to be able to start to incorporate advertising and all those sorts of things. So they're pushing for longer video. But the nature of that news feed is short is going to carry the day until something profound happens. Because who, when they're looking to be diverted and they go to Facebook, is willing to spend 7 or 8 minutes learning something? You aren't. Just think about it. We're not.
Especially on a whim.
Yeah. It's very, it's so short and single thought is crucial, I think.
All right. Beverly's asking if you could explain how to go to Square Video on Facebook.
Well, we do that in the output of our software. So we use ScreenFlow. We also did these before using Camtasia. We just decided to switch over to ScreenFlow because we thought Camtasia was stronger for text, but we figured out ways to do it within ScreenFlow, which is a little bit easier for us. So when you're going to export, you just change the canvas size before you do it, and then you have to reformat the video. You have to slide things around a little bit, but it's a very minor tweak, and then you output it as square format. Now Facebook is trying to get us to consider uploading more in 2x3, so 2 inches by 3 inches. So which is more the format of your computer, of your phone screen, if you think about it. There is everything I've seen. There's some issues with overlay and how information is being overlaid, how the player controls and stuff deal with 2x3 format with what you actually see on the screen. So we're staying with square for now, but we're keeping our eye open for vertical format. And of course, people are recording a lot of videos in vertical format. If you think about it, a lot of people, all the videographers tell you turn your phone sideways, but people still don't do that. They still record vertical. And there is a little bit of a movement within Facebook to move people to 2x3.
All right. Lorna's asking, can you define what is meant by reach? Does that mean viral sharing?
Reach on Facebook is a pretty soft statistic. It's how many times you have the opportunity for people to see it. So it's appeared in somebody's feed, whether they're looking at the screen or not, Facebook doesn't know. But it's how often it's appeared in people's feed. That is the reach.
Let's see. I never use other services to log in. Is there actually a benefit to doing so?
Just convenience. I don't know if there's a security advantage, but it's just convenience.
Dennis is asking, where are the analytics found?
The analytics in Facebook are found when you're in a Facebook page. You go under the I've lost the name of it.
Insights.
It's Insights. Into Insights, which is the top. It's one of the top menu items.
All right. Patricia's asking, how do you get your Spark videos into Facebook?
You export them. You could share them directly into Facebook. There's a sharing function where you click on share, and then you can post it directly to Facebook, or you can also download them. So what I did in the past was I actually timed out, when I first started doing and playing with this whole concept of doing text videos within Facebook, is I just timed out myself talking, and I created it all as a Spark video. And this is on our YouTube channel where I show using Spark. And I recorded the voice. I recorded the text, the animated text, and then I exported that as a video, and then I imported that video into ScreenFlow, and then recorded myself over top of it, and then married the two together, composited the two together, which was kind of a fun way of doing things. So you can either download it as an MP4, or you can do a straight connection, which will share it directly to any of the social channels. Spark will share to Instagram, to Facebook, to Twitter. You can share the format directly.
All right. Susan's asking, Adobe Spark, is it free or is there a paid version?
It's free, completely free. And it's also got mobile apps that are excellent.
All right. Michael's asking, can you address video with Facebook private group? Seems like once you have folks in a private group, widescreen works better than square. So,
I don't know if I agree with that. If people are viewing your content on a desktop computer, I would say that's probably the case. But if people are in a private group, I think that regardless of your video type, if they're in a private group, they're more likely to engage longer form video because it's on a topic. So for example, I will post a 5 or 6 minute demo into our Screencasting Made Easy group where I'm teaching people to screencast because they're there and they're interested in the topic as opposed to the public newsfeed. So there is a difference when you get into private groups. That is for sure. And we probably should have mentioned that in the video. That's a good point.
Portia's saying, I want audio. Facebook will kick me off my page because the dance videos I want to post have background commercial music. Is there a disclaimer I can post that posting this makes no money and that it's strictly entertainment?
No. So what's what's happening here is Facebook is picking up because of the rights. Facebook is picking up, and they've got good technology that, you know, how they're listening to the background music. So if you're at a wedding and you do a little video and there's dance music on in the background and they're playing YMCA, your video is going to get pulled because you don't have the rights to play YMCA.
And they are sending people to Facebook jail left and right lately.
Sorry?
They're sending people to Facebook jail over it left and right lately.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
No, I didn't go for that reason. I still don't know why I went, but that's a different story.
Don't make Jen your friend. She's had issues.
Poor Jen. Leave Jen alone.
I know.
All right.
No, you don't.
All right. Our friend Corey's asking, how does the autoplay feature work with Facebook? Is there a setting within Facebook that I need to make it so it is working for Adobe Spark videos to play automatically?
I think they will play automatically because there's two places that you have control. The uploader can say, I want this to autoplay, but the person has control about it on their own system. They can say not to have videos autoplay on their screen. So autoplay is going to become a big issue as Adobe or as Facebook changes the default setting on audio to turn it on. I think that's going to be a disaster. What do you think? Do you think that's going to be a disaster? I think it's going to be a disaster.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like the overlay of the text, the closed captioning that they automatically have started doing.
Right.
Yes.
But the noise, no.
Yeah,
No.
I agree.
Exactly.
Too loud. Rosario's asking, does Adobe Spark have scheduling and automated capabilities, or only possible to post right away?
I think it's just possible to post right away. If you want to schedule it, you can download the videos in MP4 and then create a post that you can schedule yourself.
All right. Somebody's asking about how the replay works.
Of the webinar?
Of the webinar, yes. So 48 hours.
You'll get an email about an hour after this webinar is completed, which will be good for 48 hours for you to watch the webinar replay. And what that's called is a replica replay. So it's actually going to play back with all of the chat and everything set together. About the same time, in a couple of hours after we're finished today, though, if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'll also be posting this replay on YouTube, and that will be something that you can fast forward through if you choose. And it will also have the chat. I edit it all together and pull all the chat together and output it at the start. That will also be available on YouTube for 48 hours. If after 48 hours you want to watch this video, you have to be one of our Patreon supporters. And then as soon as the 48 hours is up, we then post it into our Patreon channel, and then our patrons get to watch it whenever they want, as often as they want.
All right. And I'm just going to ask you to elaborate on the difference between the social system that's part of the Patreon subscriber community and the YouTube posting, because that's another question from another person. So
I'm not too sure which YouTube one you're talking about. We did post the video on YouTube for a while, and if you know the direct link, you could probably still find that video, but it's not being publicly shared anymore.
Got it. All right. Which microphone filter and stand are you currently using?
The microphone that I use is a Electrovoice RE20, which is an analog microphone, and it goes in through a preamp into a mixer, a Behringer Xenix mixer, which converts the analog to digital, and then it goes into my computer. So it's a complete analog, kind of a podcasting type setup. It's about a $500 microphone, and it's just got a standard pop filter and the arm is an arm.
I remember the day you got that. You were so excited.
Yes.
Well, I was working at I was still doing a radio show, and they switched to headset mics at the radio studio, and they mothballed all these RE20s, these are the standard voiceover mic in a lot of radio stations across the country. It's called Stevie Wonder's mic too. It's the mic Stevie Wonder does all of his vocals on, and it's a beautiful mic. It's got a beautiful bottom end, just like I do, and it's too much information. I know. There we go. I went off the deep end. It's the blue background. It's completely changed the personality. But they were mothballing. I said, "Could I buy one?" And they gave it to me. What could be better? So cool. I had to buy the rest of the gear for it, but it's been a good mic.
So what would you recommend? I wonder if they're asking or wondering what you would recommend for that.
I wouldn't recommend this mic as the one you purchase. I think probably most people believe that the Heil PR40 for our game, if you want the top end kind of podcast voiceover mic, that seems to be the one that everybody buys.
All right, cool. The top of it's huge. Like it looks as big as your head.
Well, it's got a foam. I pop my peas, so I've got a foam. Like I can take it off. Stop it, Jen. See, that's what the mic looks like without. But if I talk, it'll pop my peas. See that? So put the
I don't really understand what you mean popping your peas. Like pop, pop, like that?
pops. My peas pop when I talk.
Okay.
They pop. It creates. There's an explosion of air that comes out of my melon, and it causes a concussion on the microphone, which makes a pump pump. It makes an audible popping sound when I talk, unless I've got a filter. A pop. They're called pop filters for a reason.
Oh, you have filter. Oh, I didn't know you had filters.
Fine.
I need one.
You have any questions over there, Miss Jen, on Facebook Live? We can jump
No,
in.
nobody's talking to me today.
Okay.
How many people do we have on Facebook Live watching?
We have 4.
But
5.
well, we'll see, because the replay tends to
6.
get a lot. Okay, so two people just jumped over from the webinar because they felt sorry for
Because they
us.
felt bad for me. Come talk to me.
Well, this is your job to get the Facebook Live thing going, Jen. I'm just saying, no pressure.
Well,
I'm doing my part.
I need an advertising budget, Steve.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay. Well, you know what?
All right.
This is perfect timing because we've hit 11 o'clock. We've hit the top of the hour. So this is the time we would normally be letting people know that if there's no more questions that we can wrap things up. We'll stick around for a few more minutes to answer questions. But for those of you that have to go, thank you so much for spending this time. We really hope that you found today's video to be useful. You've learned a lot from it. Let your friends know about it. If you're interested in YouTube publishing, next week we're going to be talking about YouTube. The following week it's all about productivity. You've got the link to the Patreon. Email will have links to next week's video, as next week's webinar, as well as our Patreon support page. So those new patrons that have joined us today, take a look. There's a few of you, I think. Is there? Yes, indeed, there are. Keith,
welcome.
Thank you and welcome aboard. John, welcome aboard. We thank you guys a lot for your support. Consider a big virtual hug going your way. So then those of you that are about to join, we thank you as well, because I know there's a few that are probably about to join. That looks like another question. But anybody that has to leave right now, check your email. You'll get the replay, 48 hours to watch it, and we'll see you all next week. Till next time. Have fun storming the castle. Now, let's go back in. The questions?
Okay, yes. Are the video engagement stats even better than posting inspirational graphics and quotes and so on? I just see in groups that they get crazy amount of likes.
I mean, I guess I've never been the sort that really is happy posting just, sunshine makes you happy if you look into the east. It just, there are inspirational quotes that do make a difference, and there are certain types of groups that you're in that they work very well for, and there's certain formats. For instance, on Instagram, they tend to seem to really resonate well. But that's if you're just looking for likes, but does that advance your business in any significant way, as opposed to talking about something that's germane to your community? And then creating some real engagement and opportunity downstream. So yes, you can be popular without any substance. And in some ways, I think that those motivational quotes and that sort of stuff kind of are filler for that. Now, it's not to say that we don't do filler. I mean, we do on Twitter. I'm constantly curating content and putting out stuff that we haven't created that I just think is interesting. But I think there's value there as opposed to just a smile. So I think as you develop your own social system, as you develop your own, start building your own network, you're going to determine, if you look at your content honestly, what's worth sharing and what's worth not sharing. And if your community is one that just like, if you're in a community of, it's all about feeling good and there's no real business kind of downstream, then those inspirational quotes are going to be terrific. And the odd one is still terrific. But they aren't a staple, certainly from our perspective.
Okay. Stephen's
I'm not
asking.
encouraging at all, am I, ladies?
No. He's Debbie Downer.
All right.
Donald Downer, thank you.
Donald
We're
Downer.
we're not going there today.
I didn't go there. I just said it.
All right. How do you keep your webinar private and the recording private, for example, to paid subscribers only?
I don't go into the deep end for privacy. So the webinar is private because you have to register to get to it. So that's one of the reasons that we do it that way, is so that we can capture email addresses to build our mail list. So the webinar by its nature is private. The Facebook group, we want to be public. Once we replay the webinar, if people want to watch the replay that haven't signed up for it, they can, but they have to enter their email address, which is our goal anyway, so we're fine from that perspective. On YouTube, we share the video publicly until the 48 hours is up. Then we make it private. Now, you can actually make it private or you can make it unlisted. So if it's unlisted, people that have the direct URL could still see it. So somebody, if they watched it and then saved the URL, could still come back. If it's private, you need a password or you need access to see it. So that's how you can control it within YouTube. There are ways, if you're using other services, to increase that level of privacy. If you're using Vimeo or Wistia, you can shut it down a lot more easily than you can on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. All right. Avi's asking, what's the best, easiest way to get audio files from clients that are not tech savvy to combine, use with a video you're creating for them?
Skype, probably, where you don't actually even have them record it, but you record a Skype double ender. So you use a tool. If you're on the Mac, we use Mac call recorder. And you can then record both sides of the conversation. It's got a tool that's included with that allows you to split the sides of the conversation, so you can have the audio on separate tracks for editing. That's
a great idea. Steve is asking, you're so smart. I knew I liked you. ScreenFlow and Adobe Spark do the same things, but at different levels of complexity. So, like, is one easier to use than the other? ScreenFlow?
Not even close. I mean, Spark is for very light video, and it's more for animated posts, animated text with some photos. ScreenFlow is a full-blown video editing package. All of our video gets edited in ScreenFlow. Every video that you see that we do on YouTube gets edited in ScreenFlow. It's vastly more powerful. It's a traditional multi-track editor where we can incorporate multiple sources. Spark is, a slide at a time, and there's really no comparison. It's an introduction for doing. I mean, a post can look similar, but as far as the capabilities of the tool, not even close.
Do you know if iMovie has the option for square reformatting?
I believe it probably would.
Yeah.
You could change the format, but I don't use it. So I
think you can crop the size too or something.
Yeah.
Can you recommend a good site for buying music?
I use Envato. ENVATO, I think. That's where I go for my music.
All right. What are you using to do this multi-screen share with 4 people?
Webinar Jam, which is a new version. We'll be teaching it in our webinar course, how to do this. But this is the new version of Webinar Jam that uses something called the Jam Studio. And we could actually invite people in from the audience. We're not going to today, but we could. It's pretty cool.
Actually, that was somebody's question. Does anybody ever ask to speak?
They might have, but we haven't been paying attention to that side of it. So yeah, April just put the link in for Webinar Jam.
Can you link your own? I can do that one.
This is a product we are an affiliate for. So.
Yep. Is the learning curve for ScreenFlow quite steep?
No. ScreenFlow is pretty easy to learn. We teach it we teach how to use it in our Screencasting Made Easy course. And the words made easy tell you it can't be difficult. That's the rules when you put the word made easy. No, ScreenFlow you can learn to use in a few hours. You can get the basics down, like 4 or 5 hours, and you should be, even if you're coming to it from just outside, it's pretty good.
All right. I think we're coming to the end. We answered a lot of these. Is this webinar broadcasting to YouTube so it's accessible to everyone right now?
It is. They do use YouTube Live on this. I haven't explored how we promote it on YouTube yet. That's kind of another phase. But yeah, the recording will be on YouTube once what I'll do is I'm going to take all of the sources. I've been recording it actually as a separate feed so that I can have the full screen, the full chat. And then I'm going to take this basic video feed and I'm going to composite the two into a single video, which I'll upload. It takes a few hours for it all to get output. But by this evening, it will be on YouTube as a standalone file.
All right, and what's your thoughts on Periscope? Kind of passe now that Facebook Live has video.
I don't think so. I think that where your community is, that I don't think you have to worry about what the cool kids do. You have to worry about where your kids are. So I've never been one to jump on all of these other networks. I've always recognized that our community is on YouTube first and foremost. And so I've stayed with YouTube, even though other brighter and shinier new networks have come along. So knowing where your community is, and if your community is on Twitter, and that's where you reach out to people, and that's where engagement occurs, and that's where they're looking, and that's where they're going to discover your live presentation, Periscope is still vital in that space. It's, you know, Facebook Live is obviously going to be a competitor, but we have Instagram Live. And so, you know, everybody's going to have their live component, I think, as we move along. But you have to know where your community is and kind of what they're interested in. Facebook Live, for all of the excitement about Facebook Live, people don't stay and watch it for very long. The replays have, you know, Facebook, we saw from their statistics that I showed earlier, 3 seconds they consider to be a view.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the statistic, and that's the metric that we're doing, whereas YouTube considers 30 seconds of view. Yeah. And I consider that if somebody's only watched my video for 30 seconds, we don't have a relationship yet, right? So knowing where your community is and looking, you know, kind of stepping away from the hype and understanding the real value of where conversation engagement and relationship building happens. And you have to consider that. In Periscope, you know, if they're watching you, they're going, you know, you can see the retention rates are higher. So even though it's not one that we choose to use ourselves, I don't dismiss its value or consider its value to be diminished at this point.
All right, Dennis is asking, where is the in-depth Thinkific webinar on your schedule?
We are going to be doing Thinkific. We are casting our attention over the next month to delivering webinars. When we're done with the webinar delivery, and then we're going to be delivering our course on webinars. The next course in our schedule of courses is going to be on delivering online courses. So starting in about 8 weeks, 6 weeks, we will be increasing our concentration on developing online courses as we move towards that cycle. So we've got the year's divided into 3 elements for us here in Dottotech. Start of the year is all about delivering webinars. The middle of the year is going to be all about delivering online courses. And the end of the year is going to be about delivering online video. And so that's kind of where the general mix will be. It'll be interspersed with other things to keep things interesting, but that's going to be our focus. So there will be a course on delivering Thinkific webinars or Thinkific courses coming in the beginning of summer. If you want, we've got a nice tutorial on creating your first online webinar or your first online course. Yeah. It's $39. It's available at our website. And if you're a patron, it's $10.
We are at the end of our questions.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey.
We will wrap things up then. So April, thanks for your help. Jen, you got to do better on Facebook Live next week.
You say that every week. I feel like I'm letting you down.
I'm supposed to do this right here. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not blaming you for it.
I don't know if you saw, Kat had a great tip. She was saying that Facebook Live, to run it for 10 minutes. It seems like 10 minutes is the minimum to start to get people engaged on it.
It does take them time to get it out there. But yeah, we've been on there for quite a while. But if you look at this, the engagement's not there while we're live. But I even looked last week, Steve. The engagement comes after, and the views.
Yeah, there was lots of views afterwards.
Yeah, we're already at 203 views. 800 people reached. And I've shared it a lot. I even shared it to my personal page.
Do they allow you to still post on your personal page? Just kidding.
I don't know. I'll probably go to jail. For this kind of content on my personal page, I will end up in jail again.
Okay. Can I schedule my Facebook with this system? You can't really. No. We'll have to show you how we do it. The system of getting us to Facebook required a fair bit of MacGyvering. We purchased Wirecast, and so I'm actually taking the feed from this webinar, go into another notebook computer that has Wirecast running, and it takes that feed and then it rebroadcasts it out to Facebook. It's not the most elegant. In the future, in a new version of Webinar Jam, there's going to be a Facebook Live option where we're going to be able to multicast from the webinar interface. That's going to be sweet, but we don't have that yet. What's the cost of ScreenFlow is $97. There's a link. April will drop a link in for you.
One of the questions that they were asking too was, are you pre-scheduling the Facebook Live before the webinar? Or are you just starting it live?
No, I just started. I think we can do better there. We're working on it. We're learning as we go. We wanted to figure out the pre-recorded video on Facebook Live first. That's why which led to this webinar, or on Facebook first. Now we're going to start to explore a little bit more of the live version. I don't feel like I have incredible value to offer yet to the community as far as understanding where Facebook Live fits and how we leverage it, because we're still neophytes in it. Good.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for it.
Oh yeah,
it's just the
we're
time
gonna make it work for us. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
Good. All right, folks. Listen, we'll wrap things up. Thank you so much for your time. Go and enjoy the rest of the week. Next week, YouTube. April, thank you. Jen, thank you so much. Sophia, the Dark Sophia. Thanks for coming in. Till next time, folks. Have fun storming a castle.
Yay.